It's time for today's travel and cruise industry news. With the latest from travel and cruises around the world, here's your host, Chillie Falls.
Good morning. Welcome to Travel and Cruise Industry News on a rather chilly morning here in Virginia. This, of course, the 14th day of November 2020. Got down in the 30s last night, upper 30s, thankfully. But we're heading for a couple nights, first part of the week, where it's going to be down in the mid-20s. That's awful cold for us, awful cold for me. So anyway, you might have noticed that the title of today's show is The Truth About the SeaDream Yacht Club Cruise. Lots been going on. We talked about it a little bit on Thursday. Things have gotten a little worse. I'm still hoping to get a direct line from a question this morning, which still hasn't come in yet, from one of our friends that's on board as to whether or not they are going to be able to travel today. And I have not yet heard on that one. It might have been that by the time I got a message to them, they were on their way. I don't know. But anyway, to bring you up to date what's going on with them, and of course I'm going to go over some facts that I've put together and my opinions about what's happening on the SeaDream. Of course, that's the SeaDream one. We've got our friends Ben and David have been on this since it sailed from Southampton. Our friend from Point Sky has also been on there sharing his stuff. Of course, Ben and David have been doing interviews for CNN, keeping them posted. So you might have seen them on CNN on the coverage of it. And then, of course, our friend Sue Bryant, she flew into Barbados and joined the cruise there. She's covering it for Cruise Critic, and of course also the London Times, which she is the cruise editor of the London Times. So we've had some people on board the ship. So I've been in communication with them off and on, depending on when they had signals. And so let's try to bring you up to date. Of course, you've probably got as much of the factual stuff as I do. But Thursday, they announced that they thought there was one case. It was moved up to 5 cases, and with the further testing, they have now come up. It appears that it's 7 positive cases out of the 66 passengers that were on board. No crew members have tested positive at this point, but a total of 7 people, as best I can tell. Now, what was supposed to happen, and again, I have not been able to confirm all of this, as they got back into Barbados. The Barbados health officials came on and retested everybody. At least one passenger was taken off the ship to the hospital. Of course, everybody was quarantined to their cabins. Yesterday afternoon, supposedly all of the positive people were removed from the ship in Barbados, and they allowed the other passengers on board to get out and spend some time in the air after they had been basically quarantined to their cabin. So Ben and David were out on the upper deck. Then, of course, that's Sue out getting some air and when she had her time to be outside. Obviously, this was a bad situation. The cruise itself, SeaDream, was supposed to be a Barbados bubble, as Sue called it in her article on Cruise Critic. At least that was her thinking when she traveled last Saturday to board the SeaDream 1 in Barbados. The sailing was meant to herald a new era of safe Caribbean cruises. With multiple COVID tests for passengers and crew, strict health protocols on board, and shore excursion focusing on private beaches and water sports instead of mixing with the masses. And for the first few days, it felt exactly that way, according to Sue and Ben and David. Both said the same thing. On Thursday afternoon, they were told a group of 5, a family of 6 Americans traveling together, tested positive. Another person not with that group tested positive as well, along with his wife, for a total of 7 cases. So that was basically the news. They were quarantined to their cabins. They were served all of their meals in cabin. And they said the food was lovely. They were gourmet meals. So that part of it was not bad. But they did have to stay in their rooms. Ben and David, of course, commented that to try to get some exercise, that they had discovered that it was 4,768 laps around the coffee table to equal 1 mile. So that's certainly something that all of us cruisers need to know, is how to get a mile of exercise in a cabin on a boat. So, but seriously, folks, on the serious side of things, the protocols were in place. The Barbados has a good history of 21 cruises that they did up in Norway without a whole lot of problems. So this wasn't just a fly in the ointment kind of thing. That they knew what they were doing. They set up the protocols for this just like they had for their previous cruises. Now, let's get to the bad part of things. Unfortunately, because this was the first Caribbean cruise since COVID, it got some attention from the media. There were several folks on board that were bloggers and vloggers and cruise folks, cruise media folks, writers, just like Sue, Ben and David, and a number of others that were on the ship. So the information, of course, got out to all ports around the world quickly. One of the biggest fears we've had in all this, once they started cruising again in Europe with like MSC, was that this very thing would happen on one of their ships, and it would screw cruising up for everybody. Now, the SeaDream, of course, is a small ship. It's not a big, massive liner like, MSC is sailing. However, because of the attention it's gotten, it's going to hurt the industry bad, I'm afraid. And here's what the part of it that really just aggravates me beyond hope is a United States senator and a representative sent a joint letter to the head of the U.S. Center for Disease Control asking them to reinstate the ban on cruise ships from the United States. U.S. Representative Doris Matsui, Democrat, California, and Senator Richard Blumenthal, Democrat, Connecticut, sent the letters after seeing the SeaDream 1 cruise ship report. The letter was sent to CDC Director Redfield, implored him to bring back the cruise ship ban. Of course, there's a long quotes on that why they think it should happen, and the order set out seemingly robust phased approach to restarting cruise operations. But we have serious concern about that, and even with the additional requirements and standard, cruising is simply unsafe during a global pandemic. That's a direct quote from this letter. Now, I will point out, folks, to be perfectly honest about this situation, Blumenthal and Matsui are frequent critics of the cruise industry and have been all along, and were 2 of the most vocal people in blocking the cruise industry from getting any financial help when the financial stimulus package went around earlier in the year. Now, I think, personally, this is just a couple politicians grandstanding. with based on innuendo rather than fact. And you know my feelings about politicians, folks. I don't care if they're Republicans or Democrats. If the lips are moving, they're lying. Now, we're in a situation again. We've been having this thrown at us now for months where every politician in the world, I don't care which side of it you're on, is talking about the cruise industry, and just none of it's true. It's just ridiculous. So now we got a situation where you got a couple of politicians that have been against the cruise industry forever. That's just like that cotton picking writer, Jim, whatever his name is, that should be a lawyer, that should be a supporter of the cruise industry, that's constantly cutting the cruise industry's throat. He appears on my competitor's channel on a regular basis. You got a couple more politicians weighing in on something. You know, where was their ire at other things in the pandemic? Where was their ire when the president of the United States was having the White House super spreader events, or his political rallies with people with no masks and no social distancing and none of the things that the CDC is saying we need to do right now? Where was their ire back in, when was it, September, when there were some 500 cases that developed out of a resort in Las Vegas? Had nothing to do with cruising. Where was their ire for that? But now they're going to be upset because a cruise ship ended up with 7 cases. Is the SeaDream to blame for this fiasco? No, I don't think so. The SeaDream as a company has done 21 voyages along the Norwegian coast this summer. The company has made more voyages than any other cruise line, including MSC and Costa put together. Every crew member on board is certified for the WHO's infection prevention and control of the novel coronavirus course and COVID-19 contact tracing course from Johns Hopkins. Every single person on the crew. Each guest before boarding was required to do 2 separate COVID-19 tests. The measures that SeaDream has taken on board go far beyond what the CDC or European ship SAN require cruise ships to do. Was the SeaDream wrong to think they should start cruising? I don't think so either. They've got 21 successful cruises. We've had a run of successful cruises in Europe despite the pandemic resurgence in European countries. They've had COVID-free voyages under their belt. The line was perfectly positioned to be the first one to cruise in the Caribbean. Not only that, of course, the small size of the vessel helps. Another question that was asked by a Cruise Hive writer was, did SeaDream make a necessary risk because of financial need? Again, the answer is no, because SeaDream has been cruising throughout the pandemic. The company can be expected to be one of the few companies in good health financially. Not only that, it's created a system that has proven to work for months and months now. I would have been felt perfectly safe to get on this ship myself. Now, one of the questions that nobody seems to have a real answer to yet, and this is something that's probably in time needs to be studied. They changed the mask mandate in the middle of the ship, of the cruise, so to speak. Excuse me while I take a sip. And they started off not requiring masks. And that was probably a mistake. I'm guessing But they changed that in the middle of the cruise. Now, was that because of somebody tested positive? It actually happened before that was known. So it's kind of hard to answer that, as I don't have enough information on that part of it. Or could it be that because of the global pandemic resurgence everywhere, that they saw the numbers in Europe and the Caribbean and the United States and says, well, we better mask up just to make things safer? I don't know what the real answer to that one is. And that's something that in time, I'm sure they'll figure out and let us know, because it's just hard. There's several answers to that question. The fact that 5 or now 7 people got infected on board is definitely a severe issue. And my hearts go out to those folks. My hearts go out to our friends that are on that ship, that are more at risk and endangered than they need to be. And hopefully they all get home safe and sound, and they get home without, further information, further problems. Yes, it should not have happened, folks. Yet it did. The only thing that infections prove is that until we have a vaccine that is worldwide, we're going to see infections pop up on board cruise ships no matter what the measures. Now, let's look at it those of you out there, and most of my audience wants to go cruising. Most of you know I can't go cruising for now, but I still want to see you guys be able to go, and I want to be able to go this time next year. But let's take the same 66 passengers on that cruise ship, and let's tell these damn politicians to keep their mouth shut a minute and look at that. Take these 66 passengers and take them out to dinner at any state in the United States, any 50 states, whether it's mine, New York, Florida, Nevada, or South Dakota. Take those 66 people out to dinner anywhere. Take them out to breakfast the next day. Okay? Do everything right. Keep them socially distanced. Wear a mask until they're eating or whatever. You keep them separated as much as you can. I guarantee you, out of that 66, you're going to have 5 or 6 cases, 3 or 4 cases, and then spread it to their own families when you start tracing it. Because this thing is just totally out of control in this country and in Europe. And the politicians keep telling you, oh, it's all over. We're going to get there. Help is on the way. Yeah, help's on the way. We wanted to get 70 million, 700 million doses by April 1st or something of the vaccine. That's what they were promising us for a while. Well, the fact is we might get 20 million before the end of the year, and then 20 to 25 million a month after that. So by April, that's 4 months. That's 100 million, not 700 million. It's politicians, people. Republicans, Democrats, I don't care. Don't believe a word of it. Okay. I don't know. Everybody likes to hear a rant. Okay, I did just hear from our friend Sue, live breaking news, straight from the SeaDream One. Hopefully, she will be heading home today. The flight is much later, though, still confined to her cabin. That's up to date as of 2 minutes ago, folks. You can't get a better answer to that question than that. And that comes from Sue. Bryant, writing for Cruise Critic and the London Times and talking to Chillie Cruises this morning. Awesome. Okay, enough ranting. I'm done with that. I'm afraid we're going to get backlash from this more than we should, especially you got politicians getting involved again. Again, obviously, folks, I'm not making a political statement of this because they're both Democrats. Yeah, I fussed at the Trump administration a lot. I'm going to fuss at the Democrats too. Okay, we've got to look at weather. Wow, 30th name storm. Who would have thought that? All right, we got 30 name storms out there. Now, Theta, it's over there toward the coast of Africa and Europe. That's going to die. That's going to kind of hook around there. It's not going to reach the European coastline, and it's going to fizzle out today or tomorrow. That's no biggie. Currently, Theta is moving at 8 miles an hour. The pressure has risen to 1,000 millibars, by the way. Maximum winds at 40 miles an hour. So, I mean, it's still blowing some waves out there, but that's not going to be a bad one. Iota, boy, this one's looking worse and worse as time goes on. Iota is the 30th named storm. Currently also has sustained winds at 40 miles an hour. Pressure's at 1,006. It's just creeping through the warm waters now at 5 miles an hour, heading right toward Central America that just got clobbered last week or 10 days ago. So Central America, with all their mudslides and some places getting 3 feet of rain, you could get some more. Iota is expected to strengthen and to be at or near hurricane strength when it approaches the coast of Central America, and it could possibly be a Category 3 storm. There's a risk of dangerous wind and storm surge, rainfall impacts across portions of Nicaragua and Honduras, probably beginning on Monday unless it speeds up considerably. Hurricane watches will likely be issued for the area later today. Tropical storm warnings are in effect for the islands of San Andreas and Providencia. Through Thursday, so we're getting well into the next week. Heavy rainfall from Iota will likely lead to life-threatening flash flooding and river flooding across portions of northern Colombia and Central America. Flooding and mudslides in Honduras and Nicaragua could be exacerbated by Iota's recent effects there, resulting in significant impacts, a lot of death and destruction. So Iota's just kind of following in the same footsteps, and it's strengthening really badly, folks. It looks like it's going to strengthen a lot. So this one doesn't look like we'll have any impact in the United States, but Central America is certainly going to get nailed again. All right. One other thing tomorrow. As a matter of fact, Sue, that we know is still in Barbados on the SeaDream. Sue was going to be one of our guests to pop in and appear on Support a Port launch tomorrow on the cruise Amigos. So obviously, Sue, well, we'll have to see, but doubtful that she's going to make it tomorrow. But anyway, 3 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. 8 o'clock London time, Greenwich Mean Time. Is that what it is called now? I never can. I never remember when I'm off the air to ask somebody that knows that. But anyway, whatever London time is, it's 8 o'clock. We're going to have the official launch of Support Port on the Cruise Amigos. We're going to have a bunch of guests, former people that have been on the show, some people from some of the ports. We're just going to have a whole raft of people on. So it should be a fun hour to spend with us. So that's tomorrow at 3:00. And probably it's going to be minus our friend Sue, but we'll make up for it with some other guests. And we'll get a show with Sue up real quickly when she gets home to talk about all the issues that I've kicked around today. See whether she agrees or thinks I'm out of my mind, but that's neither here nor there too. All right, let's check our chat situation. Goodness gracious, a ton of chat this morning. John was with us from up in Minnesota. Bonnie's with us down in Florida. Tom Henry's here. Tells John to feel free to have a seat. John said he was standing by. He got here early. Gretchen's with us up in Ohio. Hi, Gretchen. How you doing? Amy's with us. Hey, Amy, you're here bright and early today. Sonny's here. Hey, Sonny. She says, hi, Chillie and everyone. Nikki's with us. Nikki, how you doing down there in Jacksonville? Assume everybody did survive Ada going through and getting the hell out of town finally. So Nikki says, beautiful day in Jacksonville, high in the 70s. Wow, boy, send me some of it. Like you can see, I'm in cold weather gear, and it's not even the cold. The what's going to be in the next couple of days here. Sonny says Ben and David have a YouTube video on board. Yeah, I've been following them. I've talked back and forth to them a couple times through this. Of course, I teased them about doing laps around the coffee table. I thought that was such a great line. And of course, I've seen them on CNN several times. It would be nice to have the direct access to somebody on these cruises, folks. I'm not big enough for that. I mean, I understand that. I mean, Ben and David, look at them. They got thousands and thousands of viewers. I mean, they're bigger than Bruce. I'm not. I don't have that kind of audience. I'm tickled that somebody of Sue's stature, I can get a direct comment. They came in while we were on the air from a worldwide news story right in the middle of things. That's awesome. Just awesome. Tom says, I'm wondering if SeaDream upgraded its HVAC filters. I would not want to be a ship if they do not upgrade. I can't attest to that one way or another, Tom, but I'm assuming they did. I mean, let's face it, they've done 21 cruises without having problems. And now we had problems with one. And it started from one family. One person got sick, tested positive, and then within 24 hours, 5 people in the same family tested positive. So wherever they were exposed to it, and it did not have to be on the ship, and it could have happened before they even got there, because none of the testing, folks, means that you haven't been exposed. They haven't come up with a test for that yet. Now, usually there's some time elements in there that it shows. But that's not 100% all the time anymore either. So, I'm betting that they did. Don't know that for sure, but I'm guessing that they have. Sonny says, good question, Tom. She wondered that too. Bonnie says, my friend exercise would have been walking to the cabin door to get my meals left out in the hallway. Yeah, that's what they were doing. They were literally serving the meals on the tray at the door. Then they'd knock, they would step back, you go open your door, pick up your food, bring it in your cabin. So you had no contact with any people. So they were doing an awful lot right, folks. Again, I'm not upset with SeaDream. I just think it's a situation. We all want to cruise, but until we get a vaccine and it gets accepted worldwide, it gets distributed worldwide, it gets, we're going to have to deal with this, I'm afraid. Bonnie says, yeah, they're friends of Emma, so I've followed them for a while. Yep, absolutely. Tom says, if the virus can be traced back to the flight, will we have a big change in airport protocol? Good question. And there again, who knows? And, it's sad that these folks were Americans, but then with the situation we're in this country, are any of you surprised? Sad, because so much of all of our futures rests on this. The same kind of future has been resting on MSC on them, but they've had to carry that burden, and they're still carrying it. Thankfully, they haven't had the same kind of issue. So Bonnie says the virus didn't just decide to jump onto a cruise ship. The passengers who boarded in Barbados brought it on board, even with the pre-cruise testing. You're exactly 100% correct. That's why I get so angry at the politicians jumping in the middle of this and start blaming the cruise companies and cruising in general. That's not the problem. Bonnie says, Sonny, me too, even though the governor of Florida doesn't believe in them. Yeah. Emily's with us. Good morning, gang. Hey, Emily, how you doing? Oh, yeah, the day's Saturday. We do have the cocktail party this afternoon. I am going to attempt to be there. I just didn't feel like it last week. Emily asked how I'm doing. I'm going to try not to talk a whole lot on this show, folks. I'm going to try to keep this get the tongue working. It would help. Try to get this show to keep to travel and cruise industry as much as I can. But a direct question I'll always answer. I had a rougher time yesterday with the radioactive bone scan than I was led to believe I would have. And it really knocked me on my butt, but not for the reasons that they said. They said that the radioactive crap wouldn't bother me. I, in fact, wouldn't turn purple. I wouldn't glow in the dark. I wouldn't get sick from it. The problem with it was basically I'm laying on a table for 45 minutes. Now, yeah, I'm claustrophobic, so I can't do the tight tubes like for an MRI or something. I have to go with the big fat man tubes, and they don't bother me because I got some breathing room in them. So I can do MRIs in those. Well, this got really kind of close, at least when they were doing the portion of your head, but it came down to about like this, this far off your face, which was borderline to bothering my claustrophobia. But that only lasted for 4 minutes total. 2 minutes where I was looking straight up, and then 2 minutes off to the side. But I was looking off to the side out into open space. So that did away with the claustrophobic end of it. So that part of it wasn't too bad. But over the course of the next about 45 minutes, because they take you out, you're actually moved out from under this camera thingy in the tube in segments, but you have to stay still. So I'm laying flat on my back and with my knee stretched out. So after probably 25 minutes of it, the back was starting to really kill me. And then another 5 minutes or so, the knee was starting to kill me. And when I finally got done with it all, then I was hurting. And I was pretty miserable all night last night, even though we decided to celebrate me getting one with a big nasty test out of the way, and had brought sushi in last night, and I didn't even enjoy that, and I love sushi. So, but I'm feeling pretty good today. So, but anyway, yeah, it was rougher than I expected. But so I will be doing my next update. Will be posted probably on Monday. I might post Sunday night. I don't know, because I've got a full day Monday, because I got to go for a COVID test, and I have to have another PSA test. That's where they check the prostate level, the antigen. I don't know what the hell a PSA stands for. I don't remember all that crap. It'll be in the video. And then basically the rest of the week, I don't have anything until Friday, and that's the biggie. That's the biopsy. But I will be talking about actually the early starting of treatment on the video this week. So I've gotten some more information, from when I met with the oncologist last week. So I'm hanging in there, guys. Not going to kick the bucket yet. Don't worry. Somebody's got a rant. Jason's with us. Hey, Jason, you're late again. My lead story today, Jason, before all this thing blew up and we got politicians in the middle of it, was going to be Carnival talking about they picked out the two ships that probably be the first ones to sail, and that's I think it's your ship and the Horizon for January. Anyway, I can't remember now which ones. I think it was your ship in January and the Horizon were the first two for Carnival. But anyway, that's going to be the lead story today, until all the things gotten blown out of proportion with the SeaDream. So that kind of got pushed to the back burner, because now who knows what's going to happen. We could have the CDC getting back in the middle of this mess again. So who knows what's going to happen yet. So let's just wait another few days and see if anything changes. Jacksonville's mayor put a mask ordinance in place. It expires the end of November. Wonder if it will be extended. Boy, I hope so. Cool and windy there in New York, Emily says. Jason says, when my cruise is canceled, I'm taking the money and going to Cozumel for 10 days, all inclusive. I probably, when I get a couple days free, which might be this week, since now everything that was scheduled is not scheduled, to get ready for the biopsy on Friday. Maybe I'll do a video on an all-inclusive resort, which I've been planning to do and just haven't had the time to get it done. Good vibes from Thunny. Of course, you guys, you guys are all family to me. I love you all, and I do appreciate all of you have supporting me and feeling my pain and all that. I realize that. So let's see. Bonnie says, Nikki, we have a mask ordinance in Palm Beach County, but most people I see aren't wearing masks. The mayor of Miami was upset that the governor stopped finding people without masks. And I tell you what, we get further and further along in this, and there's more and more people that are realizing that's the only thing we got until the vaccine gets out there. And then you got the infrastructure that they need, at least on the Pfizer vaccine, to keep this stuff at 90 below zero or whatever the hell that temperature is. I mean, that takes some special equipment to do that. So I'm not sure how they're going to do the distribution. I mean, I see that the CVS has been picked. That's my drugstore, by the way. So, CVS has been picked out to be one of the distribution points for, I don't know how many. Well, they have 20,000 stores or something, but that means they got to have 20,000 refrigerators to keep this crap cold at minus 90. Freezers, whatever it is. And then one of my questions is, okay, you take something that's kept at minus 90 or whatever that temperature is, okay? Do they thaw it out before they shoot it in your arm? Or do they stick a chunk of it? I don't know. How does this work? I want to know the physical part of it. Is this damn thing going to hurt like hell? Is it going to be cold? I don't know. Does it actually freeze? I mean, is it like, a solid? So, anyway, back to Jason. I don't blame you, Jason. I would be tempted to do that too, probably. So, John says, notice I didn't say Minnesota. I could have. That's my friend John. New York restaurants will be more crowded due to less spreading of diners over time. Not a good idea. Yeah, I agree. Sonny says, Chillie rant. Yeah, I did some ranting. Sorry about that, folks. No, I'm not. So, anyway, so everybody's just chatting along. And Jason says, Chillie's pissed off. Yes. But not at the SeaDream. I really do think the SeaDream people have done as good a job as can be done. I don't blame them this time. I thought at first I thought I would that oh God, here's a cruise line that's gotten, shouldn't even be there and gotten themselves in trouble and it's going to hurt all of us. Boy, the more I look into it, no, that's just not the case. Sonny says, theta, boo, beta, banana. Oh, that's good. I couldn't get through all that and say it all. Yeah. That's terrific, Sonny. So, all right, everybody's chatting away. Again, that's going to wrap me up for today, folks. I'm getting a frog in my throat and starting to cough. We don't want to do that. Not in this world. So, you guys, that's going to wrap me up. Y'all have a great weekend. Hopefully, I'll see you at the cocktail party tonight. And, of course, tomorrow we've got the, excuse me, the Cruise Amigos launch of Support a Port. So please plan on joining us for that. You guys have been supporting us and showing up all the time, and we so appreciate every one of you. But anyway, anything major happens between now and Tuesday, when I see you guys again, I will try to get something up and posted. Soon as Sue gets home from Barbados, count on the fact that we will be doing a chat with her about all her experiences. All right, guys, y'all stay safe. Please do all the sanitizing your hands, socially distance, stay away from people if you possibly can. And remember, folks, everybody, when you leave home, wear a mask. If you can wear a mask and save one life, then it's worth it. And if everybody would do that, we'd all be better off. So wear your mask, stay safe. Love you guys. Talk to you soon. Y'all have a great weekend.
Thank you for watching today's travel and cruise industry news. Join us every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern for another episode. Travel and Cruise Industry News is a production of Chillie's Cruises.